Now, what is the specified objective here? The specified objective is creation of an organization. So, in order to create an organization, we need men, money, machines and materials. So you can give proper training to these people because they will be only in the limited skill. So if it is the HR, all skills relating to HR can be given. So whatever the organization designed by the management to perform a particular task, we call it as a formal organization. Hello everyone, I am Purnima, faculty in the Department of Commerce and Management, Vidhyaashram, Pre-University College, Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. I welcome you all to this session. In this revision session on organizing, we will be discussing the various concepts here. So first will be the concept of organizing. Next, we will be studying about the process of organizing, importance of organizing, meaning, advantages and disadvantages of the functional organization. And we will also be studying about the divisional organization, formal and informal organization, distinguish between formal and informal organization, delegation, decentralization, importance of delegation and decentralization. Now, here in this session, we will be discussing up to distinguishing between formal and informal organization. So, as we all know, this is the 6th chapter for the syllabus for the second PUC students, and it is the most important chapter and a very vast chapter. So, what I would advise you is, please study the concept of organizing. It's a very, very important chapter from the examination point of view. So, you can expect at least one 8-mark question from this. Either they may ask you the functional and divisional organization, or they may ask you formal and informal organization. So, you can expect one 8 marks question, or they may ask you an 8 marks on importance of organizing. So, this is a very important chapter. Please make a note of it. Other than the 8 markers, we have also the 4 marks question here. So, they may ask you, write any 2 advantages and disadvantages of functional and the divisional structure. So, you can expect. So, this is a very, very important chapter. Please make a note of it and please concentrate on this chapter because it carries almost 11 marks in the paper. So, let us understand what is the meaning of the word organizing. So, organizing essentially implies a process which coordinates human efforts, assembles the resources and integrates both into a unified whole to be utilized for achieving the specified objectives. Now, we have the organizing here. In this drawing, we can see. So, there is the target here. What is the target here? We have to create an organization. So, in order to create the organization, we have the human resources, we have the money, so we have the technology, etc. So, everything has to be integrated and everything has to be brought together in order to form an organization. So, it assembles resources and integrates both into a unified whole to be utilized for achieving the specified objective. Now, what is the specified objective here? The specified objective is creation of an organization. So, in order to create an organization, we need men, money, machines and materials. So, when you put all this together, the process of putting all this together is called as organizing. Then, organizing can be defined as a process that initiates implementation of plans by clarifying jobs and working relationships and effectively deploying resources for attainment of desired results. See here, we have all the entire whole organization, all the employees have come together. So, it is the process that initiates implementation of plans. So, whatever we have planned for, it has to be put into action and clarifying jobs. So, whatever jobs you have created, so you have to just see what are the duties and responsibilities of each job, working relationships, that is who is the boss and who is the subordinate, effectively deploying resources. Whatever resources are necessary for carrying out the activities, that has to be allocated and for attainment of identified and desired results. Now, what is the desired result? What is the identified result? So everything has to be done. So this is in the process of organizing. So in organizing, we are bringing together all the 4 M's of business. In addition to that, we are creating various job positions in the organization, and in addition to that, we are also having the responsibilities and duties for each job, and also we are specifying the boss and subordinate relationship in the organization. Then let us see what is the steps in the organizing process. Now, the first step is identification and division of work. Now, first thing is in organizing, so we will be identifying what are the various kinds of work to be done in an organization. So, it can be the marketing job, HR job, the finance job, we have the advertisement, etc. So, there are various kinds of jobs in the organization, and for each job, you create a department. So, in this, there is division of work. So, division of work can be done on the basis of functions or on the basis of the products produced. So, the first step in the process of organizing is identification and division of work. What are the works to be done? What are the various activities to be conducted in an organization? And how do you divide the activities? So, that is the first step in the organizing process, that is identification and division of work. So one particular kind of work, you appoint certain people. So the next kind of job, you have certain people, and in this way, so you are dividing the work into different sectors, and for each kind of work, you are appointing people to do that same job. So this is what we mean by identification and division of work. Then second one is departmentalization. So departmentalization means creating the departments. You are creating departments. Either it is based on the jobs or on the base of the product lines. So if it is based on the job, you create a department. So we have the purchase department, sales department, we also have the HR department, we have the marketing department, etc. So in this way, you create departments. So in this way, when you are creating departments, this process of creating departments, we call it as departmentalization. The next one is assignment of duties. Now, when you are creating departments, you will be creating various positions within the department. Now, we have a department here, and within the department, we have various positions. So we have the departmental head, and below him we have the various managers, and below them we have the various staff working, and below them we have the various clerk, etc. So we are creating job positions within each department. So assignment of duties. So for each job we are assigning the duties. What are the duties of each job? What are the responsibilities of each job within the department? That we call it as assignment of duties. Then next one is establishing authority and reporting relationship. So here you will be just defining the authority given for each job. What is the authority and what is the responsibility? Who is answerable to whom? Who is the boss? Who is the subordinate? Everything will be defined here. So in establishing authority and reporting relationships. So in the steps in the organizing process, so first thing is we will be identifying the various activities and we will be dividing the work. Second one is departmentalization, create departments. Third one is you will be assigning the duties for each job position within the department. And lastly, we will be establishing authority and reporting relationships within the departments. Then the next one is you have to think about is why it is important to organize. So what is the importance of organizing? So this is a 8-marker question. So they may ask you, define organizing. What is the importance of organizing? So first one, what is the first importance of organizing? we have the benefits of specialization. So how do we have the benefits of specialization? See, when we are organizing on the basis of functions. So the people who are good at marketing, people who are good in sales, people who are good in HR. So you will be creating departments for each specialization. So as a result of which you can enjoy the work done by them. So you can see that most efficient people who are working there in each of the department, they will be working very, very efficiently, and as a result of which the organization will be prosperous. So we can see that whenever there is proper division of work, when a person is given the same job day to day, so he becomes specialized. When he becomes specialized, he works efficiently. When he works efficiently, it will be for the good of the organization. So the organization can enjoy the benefits of specialization. Then second one is clarity in working relationships. Now, what is this clarity in working relationships? So we should know each of the positions within the departments. So they will be authority responsibility relationship. So for each job you are creating duties, you are creating the authority, you are giving the responsibility also. So you will be having most clarity in working relationships. So you should know who is answerable. So who is the boss and who is your subordinate, and whom are you responsible for whom you should report. So all this should be clearly specified, that we will be done in the organization. When you have clarity in working relationships, there will be no confusion at all. So you will know whom to take the orders and whom to submit the assignment given. Then third one is optimum utilization of resources. So whenever we are in organizing, we make the best use of resources. So whatever resources are there, so we make the best use of the resources, whether it is the human resource, financial resource, materials or money. So everything will be put to the best use because you are hiring the specialists in that field. Next one is adaptation to change. So whenever there are any changes in the organization, you can adapt it to that changes very, very easily. So how do you do that? With the help of the authority. So when the boss orders for a change, it will be the duty of the subordinate to follow the boss orders. So in this way, we can slowly change the organization, and according to the changing environment, the organization can be slowly changed and adapted. Then next one is effective administration. So in this effective administration, we should understand that whenever we have a proper authority and responsibility relationship within the organization, we can ensure that there is proper administration in the organization. Then development of personnel. So when we have this organizing function, so we will be working under the superiors, there will be a superior subordinate relationship, and if the subordinate is quite creative and he is quite full of if he is full of initiative, then he can get proper encouragement from his superiors, as a result of which he can have a development in his job. Then the next one is expansion and growth. It is only with the help of organizing we can have expansion and growth of the organization. So when we create subordinates and superior relationship within the organization, and even if you are starting a new organization also, with the help of delegation and decentralization, we will be able to start more branches of the organization, as a result of which we can ensure that there is expansion and growth of the organization. Then next, let us understand what is the concept of organization structure. It is the outcome of the organizing process. An effective structure will result in increased profitability of the enterprise. So if you can see here there is the head. So below him there are 3 subordinates, and below each of them there are 2 more, and for each of them again they have 2 more subordinates working under them, and under these also we have 2 subordinates for each of them. So this is the organization structure. So it is the outcome of the organizing process. An effective structure will result in increased profitability of the organization. So if you can have a very good organization structure, it will help in the profitability of the organization. The need for an adequate organization structure is felt by an enterprise whenever it grows in size or complexity. So when the organization grows bigger and bigger, we need to have an organization structure in order to control the organization. Then let us understand what are the different types of organization structure. So they can be classified under 2 categories. One is the functional structure, second one is the divisional structure. Now, let us understand what do we mean by a functional structure. So if you can see here, this is the functional structure where we have the managing director of the company and we have the various heads of the various departments here. So we have the HR department, marketing department, R&D department and the purchasing department. So all the departmental heads, they will be answerable to the managing director of the company. So such a kind of organization where it is divided or it is departmentalized based on the functions, we call it as the functional structure. So grouping of jobs of similar nature under functional and organizing these major functions as separate departments creates a functional structure. So you are grouping the department based on the functions and similar jobs. So in this way, whatever you have creating in an organization, we call it as the functional structure. All departments report to a coordinating head. For example, in a manufacturing concern, division of work into key functions will include production, purchase, marketing, accounts and personnel. So based on the kind of activities involved, so we will be having the different kinds of departments in the organization. Then next, let us see what are the advantages of having a functional structure. So in a functional structure, it leads to occupational specialization since the emphasis is placed on specific functions. So in a functional structure, there is more emphasis for specialization because they will be people who will be engaged in doing the same particular job. So they will be specialists in that job. So this promotes efficiency in utilization of manpower as employees perform similar tasks within the department and are able to improve the performance. So day in and day out, he will be doing the same job, as a result of which he becomes more efficient. When he becomes more efficient, so we will be making the best use of the manpower. Then it promotes control and coordination within a department because of similarity in the task being performed. So we can have a better control in the organization because all the persons in that particular department, they will be doing the same job. Then next advantage is it helps in increasing the managerial and operational efficiency, and this results in increased profit. So when you have this kind of a functional structure, it helps in managerial and operational efficiency, as a result of which we can earn more profit. Then it leads to minimal duplication of effort, which results in economies of scale, and this lowers the cost. So it leads to minimal duplication of effort, which results in economies of scale and lowers the cost. So these are the advantages. The next advantage is it makes training of employees easier as the focus is only on a limited range of skills. So you can give proper training to these people because they will be only in the limited skills. So if it is the HR, all skills relating to HR can be given. Then if it is the marketing, all skills relating to marketing will be given. So such a kind of training can be given to the employees. Then it ensures that different functions get due attention. So each function of the organization is properly looked after by efficient people. Then let us see what are the disadvantages of this. A functional structure places less emphasis on overall enterprise objectives than the objectives pursued by a functional head. So, in case of a functional organization, we can see that there is more emphasis placed on the objectives of the department, rather they don't take the entire organization as a whole. It may lead to functional empires wherein the importance of a particular function may be overemphasized. Pursuing departmental interest at the cost of organizational interest can also hinder the interaction between two or more departments. So when you say that your department is more important than the other departments, then it may create a sort of conflict between the departments, and which may lead to it may also affect the communication, and it may act as a hindrance between the communication between the two departments. So this is the first disadvantage. Then the second disadvantage is it may lead to problems in coordination, as information has to be exchanged across functionally differentiated departments. So there may be problems in coordination because whatever information has to flow between the departments, it will be exchanged across functionally differentiated departments. So when they have any information relating to one information to another, there may be problems. Then the next disadvantage is a conflict of interest may arise when the interests of two or more departments are not compatible. So when two departments have different varying interests, then there may be conflicts. For example, the sales department insisting on customer-friendly design may cause difficulties in production. Such dissension can prove harmful in terms of fulfillment of organizational interest. So interdepartment conflict can also arise in the absence of separation of responsibility. So when you feel that the sales department wants to have a customer friendly approach, whereas the production department sees that when you go in for customer friendly, it may lead to the increase in the cost of the product. So in this case, whatever the sales department is saying, the production department may not listen. So there may be dissension between the two departments, as a result of which the conflicts can arise. Then the next disadvantage is it may lead to inflexibility, as people with same skills and knowledge base may develop narrow perspective and thus have difficulty in appreciating by other point of view. So what is the next disadvantage? It may lead to inflexibility, as people with same skills and knowledge may develop narrow perspective, have difficulty in appreciating the other people. Now we have the people department of sales, we have the department of HR. So sales department people, they will have a narrow perspective of their job, and the department of HR, they will also have their own perspective. So they may have a difficulty in appreciating each other's point of view. Functional heads do not get training for top management positions because they are unable to gather experience in diverse areas. Now, whoever are the functional heads of each of these departments, they will not get training because they will be trained in only one particular field only. They cannot take the overall organization as a whole. Then, the next disadvantage is let us see what is the suitability of this kind of a structure. It is most suitable when the size of the organization is large, it has diversified activities, and operations require a high degree of specialization. So this kind of a organization is possible, or this kind of a structure is suitable for an organization which is very huge and which has diversified activities and operations which require a high degree of specialization. Now let us see what is a divisional structure. So if you can see here in the diagram here, so we have the CEO of the company. Under the CEO, we have the various divisions. So product X, product Y, product Z. So it manufactures 3 products here, and under each divisional head, we have the R&D, marketing, finance, R&D, marketing, finance, R&D, marketing, finance. So for each product, we will be having the R&D department, we'll have the marketing department, we have the finance department. So many large organizations with diversified activities have reorganized themselves away from simpler and basic functional structures towards the divisional structure, which is more suitable towards their activities. So this kind of a divisional structure is based on the product lines whatever are being manufactured. In a divisional structure, it comprises of separate business units or divisions. So for each product you may have a separate business unit or division. So based on that, you create departments within each product lines. Then next one, each unit has a divisional manager responsible for performance and who has authority over the unit. Generally, manpower is grouped based on the basis of different products manufactured. So in this kind of an organization, so if the organization is very large and it is specializing in manufacturing of various products, so then for each product they will have a division and there will be a divisional head who will be responsible for the performance of his department, and under the divisional head we will have various departments. So this kind of a structure is a divisional structure, and the divisional head will be responsible for the performance of his division. So each division works as a profit center where the divisional head is responsible for the profit or loss of his organization. So the divisional head will be responsible for profit or loss of the organization. Next, let us see here the organizational chart showing divisional and functional structure. So first thing is they have created into a divisional structure. So in the divisional structure, we can see that under each one of them there is a functional structure. For garments, we have the HR, marketing, research and purchase. Again for footwear, we'll have HR, marketing, research and purchasing. Again for skincare, purchasing, R&D, marketing and human resource, and even for cosmetics. So for each of the product line, you create a department within each of the product line. So that is what we mean by divisional and functional structure. Then next, let us see what is the divisional structure, the advantages. So here, product specialization helps in development of varied skills in the divisional head and prepare him for higher position. Since he will be the head of the divisional head, so he will be the responsible for one product and all other departments, they will be answerable to him. So he will know how to handle his department very well. So it will help him for higher positions in the future. So this is because he gains experience in all the functions related to a particular product. Next, the next advantage is divisional heads are accountable for profits, as revenues and costs related to different departments can be easily identified and assigned to them. So whenever you are a divisional head, so you will be responsible for the profits of that particular department, and whatever the revenue of that department and whatever the cost incurred by that department, it can be easily measured, as a result of which it will be easy to pin the responsibility on them. It provides a proper basis for performance measurement. It also helps in fixation of responsibility. So if the work center or the profit center does not do well, then it will be easy to make the divisional head responsible. Then third one is it promotes flexibility and initiative, because each division functions as an autonomous unit, which leads to faster decision making. So in the divisional structure, it promotes flexibility and initiative. Yes, so why do we say that it promotes flexibility and initiative? Because it is an autonomous unit and he has the decision making power. Then it facilitates expansion and growth, as new divisions can be added without interrupting the existing operations by merely adding any divisional head and a staff for the new product line. So if you want to go in for expansion or you are starting a new product, it will be very easy. So you can create a new division, appoint a divisional head, and under him you can have a separate structure for that particular product. So it is easy for expansion and growth. Then let us see what are the disadvantages of this kind of a divisional structure. So conflict may arise among different divisions with reference to allocations of funds, and particular division may seek to maximize its profits at the cost of other divisions. So if you have one garments division, so in this garment division, there may be conflicts between all the four of them. We have the garments, cosmetics, footwear and skincare. So there may be conflicts arising between the four divisions with reference to allocation of funds. They may say that the organization is not giving them enough funds, and they may seek to maximize their profits at the cost of other divisions. So whenever you have a product, so you have tough competition. So as a result of which, you just see that you outshine the other departments in the organization. Then it may lead to increase in cost, as there may be duplication of activities across the products. Providing each division with separate set of similar functions increases the expenditure. So when you give for each set of product, you are giving a division, separate set of similar functions. So it will add to the cost of the organization, and also there will be duplication of activities. It provides managers with authority to supervise all activities related to a particular division. So it may gain power, and in a bid to assert his independence may ignore the organizational interest. So the divisional head, so he may try to promote his own department, his own product, and as a result of which he may just ignore the organizational interest. So this is the other disadvantage of the divisional structure. Then let us see for which organization this kind of a divisional structure is suitable. So it is suitable for those business enterprise where a large variety of products are manufactured using different productive resources. So it is useful for a very large organization where large resources are involved. When an organization grows and needs to add more employees, create more departments and introduce new levels, it will decide to adopt the divisional structure. So when the organization has more products, it is diversified in almost all the field, then what happens? A divisional structure will be more suitable to run such an organization. Now, let us see the comparison between the functional and the divisional structure. So in this, on the basis of formation, we can see that in a functional structure, it is a specialization. It is based on specialization, and on the divisional structure, it is based on the product lines and it is supported by the functions. So in this functional specialization, here we have the functional specialization, whereas in case of a divisional structure, it is a product specialization. Now, in a functional structure, it is difficult to fix on a department. So you cannot just say fix the responsibility on one particular department in case of a functional structure. But it is easy to fix responsibility and performance in a divisional structure. Then managerial department. So it is difficult, as each functional manager has to report to the top management. So it is easier here, as well as he gets a chance to perform multiple functions, helps in managerial development. So here in functional structure, there is no managerial development. In the divisional structure, there is managerial development. Then functions are not duplicated, hence economical. So in a functional structure, there is no duplication of functions here, and as a result of which it is more economical, whereas in a divisional structure, there is duplication of the work, and as a result of which it is very, very costly. So organization structure at all times should contribute towards the achievement of an enterprise's objectives and should provide scope for initiative so that contribution of personnel can be maximum and effective. So whatever it is, whether it is a functional structure or a divisional structure, it should contribute towards the achievement of the enterprise objectives and provide scope for initiative so that contribution of personnel can be maximum and effective. So we should form the organization structure in such a way that we get the best out of the resources. Then next, kind of organization. So we have just studied the different kinds of organizational structure. One is the divisional structure, other one is the functional structure. Now the next kind of organization is formal and informal organization. Now what is this formal and informal organization? Formal organization refers to the organization structure which is designed by the management to accomplish a particular task. So whatever the organization designed by the management to perform a particular task, we call it as a formal organization. It specifies clearly the boundaries of authority and responsibility, and there is a systematic coordination among the various activities to achieve the organizational goals. So it specifies clearly the boundaries of authority and responsibility. So it will tell us clearly the authority and responsibility. What is the level of authority each person has and what is the level of responsibility each position has, and there is a systematic coordination among various activities to achieve the organizational goals. So there should be a systematic coordination between the activities to achieve the goals of the organization. Now, what are the advantages of a formal organization? It is easier to fix responsibility since mutual relationships are clearly defined. So here it is easy to fix the responsibility in case of a formal organization, and there is no ambiguity in the role that each member has to play as duties are specified. So they're specifically telling what are the duties for each position, so there is no room for confusion or ambiguity. Then third one is unity of command is maintained through an established chain of command. So there is a chain of command, a unity of command here. So only one person will be heading the department. So he, under his direction, all other subordinates have to follow him. Then it leads to effective accomplishment of goals by providing a framework for operations to be performed and ensures that each employee knows the role he has to play. So this is one of the best way to attain the organizational objectives, because we will have a role. Each member has his own role to play in the entire organization. So as a result of which we can ensure that the goals can be achieved very, very easily. Then the next advantage is it provides the stability to the organization, because the behavior of employees can be fairly predicted since there are specific rules to guide them. So in this kind of an organization, the behavior of the employees can be clearly predicted because we have rules to see that the employees follow the rules. Then next, let us see what are the limitations of the formal organization. The formal communication may lead to procedural delays as established chain of command has to be followed, which increases the time taken for decision making. So the first limitation is, so if you keep on following the formal communication, so formal communication is right from the top institutional head, so it has to follow the chain of authority and come. So if it has to follow the scalar chain, then what happens is there may be procedural delays in giving the communication. So as a result of which there will be lot of time to be taken for decision making. Then the next delimitation is poor organizational practices may not provide adequate recognition to creative talent, since it does not allow any deviations from rigidly laid down policies. So the next limitation is the organizational practices may not give a proper encouragement for the initiative of the employees. They have to just follow the orders and he cannot do it out of his own creativity. It is difficult to understand all human relationships in an enterprise and this place more emphasis on the structure and the work. So it is difficult to understand all human relationships. So there is absolutely no human relationship here. It will always be based on the superior subordinate relationship only. So hence the formal organization does not provide a complete picture of how an organization works. So they don't give us a complete picture. Now, the next one is the informal organization. So interaction among people at work give rise to a network of social relationships among employees called the informal organization. So informal organization, if you can see here, there are people working here, they're sitting together, laughing and talking. So this kind of an interaction among the employees of a particular organization, so this we call it as a informal organization. It emerges from within the formal organization when people interact beyond the officially defined roles. So there is an interaction between the employees beyond the officially designed roles. So when people have frequent contacts, they cannot be forced into a rigid formal organization. So we cannot see that they be always in the formal structure. So when they have a personal contact or a personal relationship with the other employees, so this creates an informal structure. So it is based on the interaction and friendship. They tend to form groups which show conformity in terms of interest. So you can see here the employees, they are enjoying themselves. So having a cup of tea and interacting with each other, socializing with each other. So this kind of a social interaction is possible in the informal organization. So it has no written rules. It's fluid in form and scope and does not have fixed lines of communication. So in an informal organization, you don't have the superior subordinate relationship. They may be friends because of some common interest, and as a result of which communication is open. So anybody can talk to anybody. There is no rigid rules, no responsibility relationships, and as a result of which communication will be open in case of a informal organization. Then let us see the features. It originates from within the formal organization as a result of personal interaction among the employees. So because of personal interaction, we can get an informal organization. The standards of behavior emerge from group norms rather than officially laid down rules and regulations. So how they have to behave in the informal group, it is based on the group norms rather than the official laid down rules. Then there is an independent channel of communication without specified direction of flow of information are developed by the group members. So in case of an informal organization, there are independent channels of communication. You need not follow the chain of command, and it emerges spontaneously and is not deliberately created by the management. So this is something which is not created by the management. It comes up on its own. Then it has no definite structure or form because it is a complex network of social relationships among the members. So there is a social relationship among the members. So as a result of which it emerges. Then what are the advantages? So prescribed lines of communication are not followed. So the information is, there is a faster spread of information as well as a very quick feedback. So in case of informal organization, we can see that the information spreads faster and there is quicker feedback. Then the next advantage is it helps to fulfill the social needs of the members and allow them to find like-minded people. So it will help in finding the like-minded people. It enhances the job satisfaction and gives them a sense of belongingness in the organization. So it will help in fulfilling their social needs and also help creating a sense of belongingness to the organization. It contributes towards fulfillment of organizational objectives by the formal organization. For example, employees' reactions towards plans and policies can be tested through the informal network. So whatever is the reaction to the company's plans and policies, it can be known from the informal organization. Now, next one, what is the disadvantage? Here, when an informal organization spreads rumors, it becomes a destructive force and goes against the interests of the formal organization. So if there is any rumor in the informal organization, it may go against the organizational interest. Then it cannot be to either altogether eliminated. So it would be the best interest of the organization if the existence of such group is recognized and the role played by the members are identified. So in such an informal organization cannot be avoided at all. So we should have such an informal organization, and we should also identify the role played by such an organization. The knowledge of such groups can be used to gather the support and consequently lead to improved organizational performance. Now, the next disadvantage is the knowledge of such groups can be used to gather the support and consequently lead to improved organizational performance. Then, let us have a comparative view of the formal and informal organization. So, if you can see the meaning here, the structure of authority relationship, it is created by the management. So, formal organization is created by the management. So, a network of social relationships arising from interaction among the employees. So, informal organization is created by interaction among the employees. It comes into being automatically. Then, it arises as a result of the company's rules and policies. It arises as a result of social interaction. In a formal organization, it arises by view of position. So, because of position it comes. Here it comes because of the personal qualities. Then behavior, it is directed by the rules. The formal organization is directed by rules. There is no set behavioral pattern in an informal organization. So, communication takes place through the scalar chain in a formal organization. Here, it is not through planned route. It can take place in any direction. There is no fixed rule for communication here. Here, the nature of the organization is rigid. Here, it is very flexible. Here, the managers are leaders. Leaders may or may not be managers. They are chosen by the group. So, we have a comparative view of the formal and informal organization. Please make a note of it because this is very, very important from the examination point of view. They may ask you the advantages and disadvantages, formal and informal organization for a 8 marks question, or it may be the divisional head or the functional structure, or they may ask you importance of organizing. So, please make a note of all this. With this, we come to the end of this session. Hope you have all followed it. Thank you.